Hello students, till now we have started the two-phase locking protocol, we have studied the timestamp ordering protocol, validation concurrency control protocol. So this is another type of protocol that we have to study, that is the graph based protocol. Graph based protocols are basically an alternative to the two-phase locking protocol. What they do is, in this protocol, they impose a partial ordering on the data items. Suppose I am having a set D, a set of all the data items in my system. Data items means on which I am going to perform the read or the write operation. So if I am having a set D, then according to graph based protocol, it imposes a partial ordering. What partial ordering means is, if there is an ordering from DI to DJ, and if a transaction, suppose if a transaction wants to access the data item DJ, then transaction has to access or lock the item DI before the data item DJ, because DI is the parent of the data item DJ, means DI need to be accessed before DJ if there is an arrow, if there is a partial ordering that exists from DI to DJ, right? We will see this with the help of a graph. What it means is that the set of data items, it can be viewed in the form of a directed acyclic graph, that is also known as the database graph. So we have a very simple kind of graph protocol, that is the tree protocol. So how it looks like, I'll show you the diagram. See this simple tree protocol. It is a kind of graph based protocol only. This is how the tree looks like. Simple tree protocol that imposes a partial order on the database items in a database. We have represented those data items and the partial ordering among them in the form of a tree. This we use only for the exclusive locks, because for the shared locks there is no problem, because two or more than two transactions, they can have a shared lock on multiple data items simultaneously. So there the problem always arises because of the exclusive locks. So we are only bothering about the exclusive locks here. So what are the rules to draw or to access the data item is that each transaction Ti can lock a data item at most one. If suppose a transaction T1 has locked data item A and then unlocked it, it cannot lock the data item A again. One item can be accessed or locked by each transaction at most once, right? So first what happened is, any data item is locked. Subsequently, then the transaction will keep on locking the data item whatever they want. And if a transaction needs a data item, first the transaction has to lock the parent of that data item. What I mean is, suppose if the transaction wants to work on the data item F, suppose transaction T1 wants to lock the data item F, then transaction transaction T1 needs to lock the data item B, because B is the parent of F, and before locking the B, the transaction T1 has to lock the data item A. In short, in order to have an exclusive lock on the data item F, transaction T1 has to lock data item A and data item B, right? But that the locking sequence matters. The locking sequence is according to the partial ordering among the data items, but data items can be unlocked anytime. Unlocking sequence doesn't matter, locking sequence matters, right? So let's see this. Suppose this is a tree and I am having these four sequences by the four different transactions. Suppose a transaction has logged data item B, then logged data item E, right? Then the transaction has unlocked data item E and logged data item D. You can see this because the transaction wants to have an exclusive lock on data item E, so data item B needs to be logged first. And then if the transaction D wants to have an exclusive lock on data item D, then data item B needs to be locked first. So first B is locked, then E is locked. Due to any reason they have released the lock on E. Then D is locked, unlock B, lock G. Right, this way if a transaction wants to unlock any particular data item, then its parents need to be locked first, right? So see this schedule. These 4 sequences are by the 4 different transactions that are arranged in this schedule S12. Suppose transaction T25, they have logged data item B, right? Now they have logged data. Now the switching occurs and the transaction T26 log data item D, log data item H, unlock data item D. Then we again move to T25. After unlocking data item D, we unlock data item. We lock data item E, then unlock data item E, then put a lock on D and unlock then B. In short, you can see this. When transaction T25 wants to lock data item E and data item D, the transaction T25 has to have a lock on data item B. If B is not locked, then D and E cannot be accessed, right? To access D and E, B needs to be locked. Not all the parents, not the whole branch, but to access D and E, B needs to be locked, right? So this is the sequence, one of the sequence. Okay, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? If you remember, our two-phase locking protocol suffers 3 different problems. That is, first, it was not free from deadlock. It was not sometimes recoverable and can cause cascading rollback. But here, this simple graph locking protocol is free from deadlock because one data item can be accessed only by one transaction at a time, right? So it is free from deadlock and unlocking can be occurred anytime. Once the work is done, the unlocking can occur. But apart from having the advantages, what are the disadvantages is that the transaction may have to lock a data item that it doesn't want to access. You can see here, suppose if a transaction just want to work on data item D and E, unnecessarily data item B has to be locked, right? Because if the transaction doesn't lock data item B, it cannot access E. So in order to access E, B has to be unnecessarily has to be locked, which is not required. So it might reduce the concurrency of the system, right? And it increases the locking overhead. So these are the 2 disadvantages. In the next video lecture, we will be studying about database recovery and what are the different techniques, what are the different failures and what are the different techniques to recover from a database failure. So thank you, class.